so pleased that you joined us this morning. We were wanting to have the opportunity to ask you a few questions and learn about your experience with a touch of understanding so that you can share that with our fans and our listeners, because you got a great story to tell.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're so glad. And you get to partake with one of Susie's homemade little ATOU bears.
I love that. She's
Isn't that
very
cool?
talented.
She is very talented. So Nolan's got a great question for you.
Yeah, so Mary, you've been volunteering with us for quite some time. I was just wondering, why is it important to you to volunteer with our organization particularly?
Well, for me, actually, you say quite some time. I always feel still like a newbie because I've been volunteering since 2015. So for me, that's been 4 years. And there have been many volunteers that I have met that have been here 10, 15, 20 years. So I always feel like a newbie still when I meet other volunteers. But you know, for me, when I was looking for an opportunity to volunteer, I kind of felt like Goldilocks. I looked for a lot of different places, and this just felt just right for me.
And what exactly drew you into our program? What actually made you reach out to contact us?
I actually learned about ATOU because I attend a traumatic brain injury support group at Sutter Roseville Hospital, and I learned about the program. And so, one, it's right in my community, and I thought that's perfect. It was a program that my children had attended when they went to school, and so I just stopped by one day, and I met the folks in the office, and I learned more about the program. And I just liked the opportunity to go out and talk to children. And I wanted to share about how I had a career. And then just one day, my life just completely changed. And I needed to find something else to do with my life. And this, I think ATOU is a great opportunity of how you can take something that may make you a little different than someone else, and how you can still make you still feel special and share that opportunity. So that's what drew me to ATOU.
Awesome. And so what you said, something in your life has changed. Can you share a little bit about what that was?
Yes, I had a long career with Placer County, and I worked up in Auburn, and I had been there for 20 years.
Wow.
Had a great job that I loved. And I was home on a Friday afternoon. It was the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. And I had taken the Friday off to just have a long weekend, because I always think of Memorial as the kickoff for summer. And I love the summertime. And so that afternoon, I was going for a walk in my neighborhood, which I've done many, many times before. And about 15 minutes into my walk, I got hit by a car. And I was very badly injured. And so, besides a lot of physical injuries, which you look at me now, many years later, have healed, I was also sustained a severe traumatic brain injury. And because of my brain injury, I wasn't able to go back to work because I really struggled with some cognitive difficulties and memory difficulties and things like that. So I had to find something else that I loved doing, because I still felt like I had some things that I could offer, and so that's what drew me to ATOU.
Perfect. That's amazing. And what's one of the questions that you seem to be asked, perhaps more often than not, from the children?
You know, I get a variety of questions, and I think one of the ones that really probably stumped me the most, and sometimes I have to catch myself and maybe not giggle, is I have been asked what kind of car hit you.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
isn't that funny? Kids want to know the darndest things,
they
right?
do, and I always am glad to tell them that I was really fortunate that I was hit by a smaller car and not one of those big SUVs.
Ooh.
Because I'm certainly glad to still be here, because
Right.
took a look at it and kept on ticking. So,
And they
Yeah,
probably
so-
like that.
yeah, and so they ask me those kinds of questions. They ask me questions about how I go about handling things when I forget things, how I try to compensate for my memory problems and things like that.
Okay.
So those are the things, and I try to tell them that I use my phone a lot. I write lists down, those kinds of things.
And the phone now can be a real asset, tool.
Yes, I love my phone, but the problem is I usually lose my phone about 10 times a day. So the phone is a real asset if you remember where you put the phone. But when you have a memory problem,
Okay,
I misplace the phone several times a day.
okay.
But when I find the phone, it's a real
That's
asset.
okay. Do they ask you about driving or anything like that, daily living type skills?
Yes, and they do ask me about driving, and I'm always so pleased to tell them, because usually these are, second through fourth or fifth graders that I'm speaking to. So I always tell them that I'm glad I have the opportunity to talk to future drivers.
Right.
And so, the one thing I like to tell them is, the person that hit me, they weren't a drunk driver. I do get that question a lot. Was the person that hit me a drunk driver? And I said, no, they weren't a drunk driver. They weren't a teenager. The person that hit me was the same age that I was.
Oh,
And at the time, I was 50 years old when I got hit.
wow.
So for all those years, I had not lived with a disability. And so I think what's really important for me is to tell kids now, with so many distractions that we have,
Yep.
is, the reason I was hit was because the person wasn't paying attention. So it's a good opportunity for me to remind kids on future drivers. Please pay
Don't
attention
text
when
and
you're
drive.
driving, don't take your eyes off the road,
Yeah.
because bad things can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely.
So not only have you been a volunteer with us for the last 4 years, but you're now a board member. How long have you been on our board?
I think a little over a year.
Okay, all right. Did you enjoy that?
I do.
Okay, and that's an important part to help us to continue along and to be able to grow, and so you're involved in those decisions. That's important, that's extremely important.
I do. I appreciate the opportunity to do that because, I think ATOU's employees and their volunteers are the lifeblood of this organization.
Absolutely.
So we wouldn't be able to, ATOU wouldn't be able to do what they do without our employees and our volunteers, and of course our donors.
Absolutely.
So I'm just had the opportunity, and I've got the time, and so I think it's an opportunity for me to give back to my community, and I appreciate the ability to do that.
Well, we appreciate you, because without volunteers like you, without board members like you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and reach all the children that we do. So we thank you for your dedication and the work that you do with such understanding. Now, I have one last question for you.
Yes,
Would you like to hear one of Nolan's jokes?
I will not be done until I have one of those jokes. I'm ready, Nolan.
Okay. What do you call a bear with no teeth?
I do not know.
A gummy bear.
Ooh, and I like gummy bears.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary, for everything that you do, for all that you've done, not only for a touch of understanding, but for people with challenges in general, because you're a beacon of what can happen when something that's not so positive has happened to you, and you can change that around and make a positive impact for others. That's huge. So thank you.
Thank you.